Our position has always been, continues to be, the 1954 treaty agreement we have with Taiwan, where the United States should continue to honor that commitment of 1954 in protecting and assisting Taiwan for their own independence. However, on the pending trip for the President to China, we feel that Red China should not be admitted to the United Nations at this time because they do not meet the requirements of the Charter to begin with. And we also would ask the government to tread lightly in the area of trade, particularly strategic trade, such as maybe these 707s they're talking about that could be converted into military weapons. But as long as the objective of the United States government is peace in the world, we must not rule out dialogue with 700 million people.
There is so much unused capacity in the economy, idle plant and idle facilities and idle labor. The demand added by that kind of stimulus would be met by an increase in production, not by more inflation. And because that kind of budget would stimulate and raise tax revenues, the net effect on the federal deficit would be very small indeed compared with the increase in that deficit that we've seen over the last 7 months.
The Clean Sweep program involves withholding financial and other support from and voting against every elected state and federal office holder, from precinct chairman to president, regardless of their party affiliations and regardless of whether the office they hold has any direct connection with the policies followed in the public school system, until such time as all forced busing of any school children in Dallas is eliminated.
We were confronted with the need to make a decision whether to move that BYU game back to the campus in Denton or to keep it in the Dallas area, which of course was our original motive in signing a contract with Texas Stadium. We felt that if the original decision had been a sound one to bring our football team to the metropolitan area, it remained a sound one, and Cotton Bowl is obviously a fine place to play a football game.
Well, what kind of problems will changing at this late date from Texas Stadium to the Cotton Bowl, what kind of problems will that be with tickets and with letting people know and problems like that?
Well, I would hope that the public knowledge part of it would be quite simple, just through the media and so forth. The ticket arrangements represent one reason that we chose the Cotton Bowl. We can most readily approximate the seating in the Texas Stadium with a similar size stadium at the Cotton Bowl. Had we gone back to Fouts Field in Denton with its 20,000 capacity, we would have enjoyed more difficulty in offering comparable seats. This way we can offer comparable seating to the season ticket purchasers.
We would never consider any collaboration with the American Federation of Teachers. We think that the organizations representing teachers should remain independent voices representing the teaching profession. We have nothing against the American labor movement, but we do not think the teaching profession should be under the control of the AFL-CIO. And for an example, this happened 2 years ago during the General Electric strike. The AFT sent out lesson plans to its members about what to teach about the GE strike. And this just flies in the face of of things that professional teachers believe in.
He was very concerned about employment for his wife.
Is that the only reason he gave?
This is very true. He did make a statement that someone had, it was made clear that without her employment, speaking of his wife, I would not accept the position. But this was not with me. I don't know who promised him a job. I knew nothing of it.
What will happen now? Do you have other names, other persons that are being considered for the job that are in the forefront?
We have the resumes of several good people. We did narrow the situation down to 11, and then finally the top 5. We have some very good people.
Are any of them from Fort Worth?
Sure they.
This is the Colony Club on Commerce Street in downtown Dallas. It is not New Orleans, it is not Bourbon Street, but tonight the chaplain of Bourbon Street, the Reverend Bob Harrington, is preaching. He is preaching to the strippers, he is preaching to the patrons, he is preaching the message he has brought to Bourbon Street, New Orleans, and the country for the past 11 years. Let's go inside, see what this man sounds like in his own environment.
Hey, I won't take much of your time because I know you didn't come to the Colony Club to hear a preacher, but I'll just say I'm glad to be here. How do you like my choir? Lord, what a solo you can sing. Well, we want to thank you for letting me take these few moments. Of course, down on Bourbon Street, that's quite a good street for a preacher because we got some misters and misses and mistakes on that street. We got some he's and she's and shims, and in fact, we got some people you can hardly tell which from the whats. And it's embarrassing on me as a Baptist preacher to have to marry a couple of these weirdos when you can't tell the boy from the girl and you think they're praying about which is what. So I had to marry this couple the other day, and there's no doubt about you two being girls. I want you to know right now that the Lord did a good job when he made you. But let me tell you, I had to marry this couple, so I just leaned them up against the wall, and they were dressed alike, they looked alike, they smelled alike, the hair was alike, the clothes alike. So I took my Bible, and I said, well, whichever one you are, take whichever one this is to be whatever y'all gonna be, because nowadays you really don't know. And after I finished marrying the couple, I said, now will one of you kiss the bride? And that really did floor him. But you know, I thank God I found out who I am, where I'm going, and what I'm doing, and I found out how to live and how to give and how to share, how to have a home instead of a house, how to be a man instead of a mouse, how to be something instead of nothing. And maybe these few moments I've said will help each one of us to take an inventory that our lives could be more like they ought to be for the Lord and less like they've been being for ourselves. Thank you so very much. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you, Brice. Thank you. Thank you, my Thank you. It's good to see you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. You did a marvelous job. Thank you. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
I think he ought to either change the economic policies of this administration, or I think he ought to make it clear he's joining it up. I think probably that, as I've said before, that President Nixon will choose Secretary Connally as his running mate in 1972, and I hope he does, because Secretary Connally is not my kind of a Democrat.
This ensures the man by state law that these guidelines are set up by the state legislature. It is a minimum guideline that the cities have to abide by, and this ensures the man that he will be free from any political pressures. Promotional examinations are fair and just. There's no way that any pressures at all could be involved in it.
Now, this is a good plan, according to both of your associations. Many other cities have adopted it. Why is the Irving City Council against it?
Well, I'm not really sure. From all the benefits that I can see from it, it would be beneficial to the council, to the city administration, to the citizens of Irving. When you have a civil service act, I think it's attractive to the higher caliber type of young man that's coming up these days, and they're not always looking at the salary factor. A lot of them are looking at the benefits, the security that they have, and the promotional system that you have to offer.
You know, every weekend there's people that attack cops with guns in clubs, and they get filed on for, you know, a misdemeanor assault on a police officer. And me, because I yelled at a cop, I got a 3-year felony, you know, sentence. And you know, this is the first time I've ever even been to court before. You know, it's a pure case of harassment, as I've been saying for the last 3 years. As many times as I've been arrested, it's the first time I've ever even been to court.
What do you expect will be the outcome of your appeal?
Well, eventually, I imagine we'll win it. There's enough reversible error in the case now, and I think the law is probably unconstitutional, and eventually, when, you know, we go through the whole bureaucratic judicial process, I expect to be set free, and of course the city's going to be, you know, look like fools again.